The biggest challenges the Army faces is attracting new qualified recruits. One of the biggest reasons centers around the awareness of all the ways you can serve, like we just learned from our inspiring woman. Now, there are many areas you can specialize in, and there is a broad range of specialties. It's part of the reason the Army launched a new campaign this year to target the Gen Zers to show how they can serve. Brigadier General Alex Fink, the Chief of Army Enterprise Marketing, talked with us about the new campaign.
It's designed to show the breadth and depth of the roles that you can play in the United States Army and how all those roles come together to form this incredible team. And we haven't necessarily told the whole story of what you can do in the Army in the past, and that's what we're trying to get at in this campaign, is to show all the great variety of things that you can do that you might want to do in civilian world, but you can also do that in the context of the Army in a large purpose as part of a great team.
So what are some of the challenges you all face when you're trying to find these great recruits?
We got to keep them in the keep the Army in their consideration set as one. And so when you have a great economy, low unemployment, that becomes a challenge by itself, is just keeping the Army relevant to them. But another issue is also this relevance versus reverence idea. You know, we have plenty of reverence here in the United States Army. People thank us for our service, and across all the services, really. But we're not seen as being relevant, and that's because there's this growing military-civilian divide in our country where fewer youngsters really have any sort of connection with someone who serves, and that leads to misperceptions about what service is like and what you can do in service. And so they may think that they already know who we are and what we do, and that may be a direct combat action type role, which we do, but we offer many other opportunities as well, you know, in space and science and engineering, logistics, cyber in particular, signal. So we have a whole variety of career fields, over 150 that folks can come in and do.
Well, you just mentioned so many, I'm not even sure this next question is relevant, but are there any that would surprise young people that they may not even realize they can achieve?
Well, I think the one I just mentioned was cyber. For sure is an area that we're in, and we're going to showcase that in this first set of ads that we'll have out. That really is one of the new domains that we compete in when we think about our adversaries. But also engineering, science, and medicine is probably an area that folks don't think about typically when they think about the United States Army. So these are a few of those roles. And I think the important piece is that how all of these roles work together to form this incredible team to really get after some of the world's most important work.
So if someone watching now wants to learn more about this campaign and, of course, learn more about what you've just talked about, which are these great careers, where should they go? What should they do, General?
So they should go to GoArmy.com. That's our website, GoArmy.com. And right there, in their language, we have put descriptors of the things that you can do, how they would describe themselves, and then that links to different types of career opportunities that they would have.